Hello, today is September the 30th, 2014, and the folks at MotiveWave are busy adding yet more features to this great product. I didn't do an update for the enhancements in 3.51. I'll do that. And they just released yesterday 3.52. So let's go see what's new with the 3.51. Strategies use account position. So now when you're trading, you're able to trade from an existing account position. And you would do that by strategy. Add a strategy. Pick any trading strategy. I'll just pick this one here. And you can see that in the trading options, you now have use account position. Auto load of studies. I'll let you read this. The option enabled by default would automatically scan the MotiveWave extensions directory for updated or new studies or strategies and load them into MotiveWave. This is set by default, and you go into your preferences. You go into chart, options, and you'll see it down at the bottom. If you don't want to load third-party extensions, then you would uncheck that. But it comes checked by default. If you're a trader using Rhythmic, there's been some updates. The linear regression channel, formerly known as the standard deviation channel. And this is very, very nice. And I'd like to show you an example of how to use that. Some people trade or look at signals based on 10 days, 1 hour, and a linear regression. So go into your study, add a study, and look for linear regression. So this new one is called the linear regression channel. It used to be called the standard deviation channel. So turn that on, and if you set it to 70 bars, you'll get 10 days worth of 1 hour bars. You can pick your standard deviation. I look for typically a 90% confidence, and you can extend it to the right. In the display, you can choose to enable markers whenever it crosses the top or anywhere else. I don't particularly want to clutter up my chart with these arrows, so I'll turn them off. Signals. I don't need signals. Yes, sorry, I do want signals. And I want a little beep every time it crosses above or below any of these points. But I only want it for the 1 hour. So I'm going to select not all bar sizes, but only the 1 hour. And I'll change this to 1 hour as well. I won't use the chart bar size, the chart that I'm looking at. I only want the 1 hour. And I'm going to save that as my default because this is the type of linear regression channel I'll use more often. And I get something like this. I can tighten those up because Apple right now is following more of a, let's try an 80%. Let's go to one, try one standard deviation. Anyways, you can see how you can play with these and get the right fit. So now you've got a 10-day, 1 hour, 1 standard deviation, linear regression. And whenever you're outside of those bounds, you're going to get an alert. It's a very, very nice feature. And it's something that I've wanted to see in MotiveWave for some time. Let's look at the features now in 3.52. Study plots can be assigned a different instrument from the chart instrument. Let's look at that. Let's add a study. And let's say we want to use a, let's just pick any one. Let's say a pivot point study. you can assign this now to a different instrument. And I may have to come back to that one. Time frame study. This is very nice. Do you remember the time frame study that we saw in 3.5? I'm going to add a time frame study. But what they've added here is show the range. So if you're looking for the first 15 minutes and you want to look at the behavior of the stock for the rest of the day based on the first 15-minute movement, you can show the range. Let me cancel that. Let me go into a 5-minute chart. Sorry. Let me get rid of this study that we did earlier, the linear regression. Let's do that again. Study, recent, time frame, show the range for the first 15 minutes. And I've selected to fill in the first 15 minutes. Now the first thing you're going to notice is they've made a change. Now there's only 3 candles, 5 minutes in the first 15 minutes, as you'd expect. Prior to this upgrade, candles were based on their start. So within that 15-minute time frame, you had 4 candles that started. The 9:30, the 9:35, the 9:40, and the 9:45. They've changed it now so you only get 3 5-minute candles, and the 15 minutes is determined by the start and the end of the the candles in that 15 minutes. So now when you've got your show range, you're going to be able to see how when the stock trades above the opening 15-minute range, or when it falls back into or below the 15-minute range. So this is very nice, and it will show you that for whatever period that you're looking at, so that you can look back in time and see how Apple trades versus the opening 15 minutes. And you can see right here, for example, where it broke out, came down to test the 15 minutes several times during the day, and then ran at the end of the day. Here's another example here where it fell below the 15 minutes, kept coming back to test the 15 minutes, and couldn't break into it. Here's another example. Apple fell below the 15 minute, kept coming back to test it. Here at 11:40 in the morning, here at 3:40 in the afternoon, and failed at the end of the day. So the first 15 minutes for Apple is really quite important to watch, as well as it is for some other stocks. The other thing that they've added is study doc long names, and that's also found in your preferences, chart, options, and you're going to find it up here somewhere. Anyways, you can turn that on or off. So those are the main features of 3.51 and 3.52. There are 2 really killer ones in there, in my opinion. That's the linear regression channel and the time frame studies, where you can see your range.